Well, Deidre is not here, Rob Sand not here. I'm not Deidre. But I am Joel Miller, and I'm not on your agenda. Joel Miller, Democratic candidate for Iowa Secretary of State. I grew up at a dairy farm north of Independence, Iowa. I'm a veteran of the United States Army, served in the Military Police Corps. Former IBAW electronics technician. Former mayor of Robbins, that's where I live now. Anyone know where Robbins at? I know Jan does, because she's from Linn County for a time. Jan's back there in the corner. Also, my wife Sylvia and I, we have 3 adult married children, 9 grandchildren. And I've been the Linn County auditor for almost 16 years. It'll be 16 years at the end, close to 16 years at the end of this year. Chaired the Linn County Democratic Party for 4 years as well. So why am I running? I'm running to make voting easy again. That's what's on my yard sign. That's been my motto since I announced September of 2021, the Polk County Steak Fry. And I think it rings true. I think it rings true for where we're at today. I'm also for making elections fair again, restoring leadership to the Secretary of State's office, and putting you, the voters, first again. So now I'm talking about make voting easy again. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the fact that in 2016, you could request an absentee ballot up to 3 days before the election day. And in 2017, it moved to 10 days. Now it's 15 days. In Linn County, 101 people in the primary election missed the 15-day deadline, and 51 of them didn't vote. We can't have that happening in this election. It wasn't just Linn County voters that missed that deadline, it was voters across the state of Iowa. That could mean hundreds of 100,000 people maybe missed the deadline and don't vote in this upcoming election. That's undermining our democracy and our elections in Iowa. When I'm talking about making elections fair again, I'm talking about the fact that absentee ballot drop boxes are allocated by county and not by population. Adams County, 2,800 voters, 1 drop box. Linn County, 161,000 voters, 1 drop box. You have 1 drop box. It's over here. I saw it the other day when I was down here. What else? Well, we used to have 40 days of early voting. 2016, then it moved to 29 days in 2017, and now it's down to 20. Let's bring that home to what it means. You know that October 19th is the first day you can vote early. It's also the first day that your county auditor can mail absentee ballots out to you. So I was just asking somebody how long it took for mail to get from one side of Nevada to the other side of Nevada if you mailed it. The answer I heard was about a week. Is that right? So let's think about this. The auditor sends it out, it takes a week to get to you. You don't turn it around right away, you don't vote it and send it back. You take another week. Then it takes a week to get from your home to the auditor's office. Guess what? It may arrive after 8 p.m. on election day, and it may not get counted. That happened in Clinton County in the primary. 42 people missed the deadline. The mail was stuck in the Moline post office for some reason, and it arrived in the county auditor's office after election day, and those ballots didn't get counted, and there was a race decided by 7 votes. What a travesty. What a travesty. When I'm talking about putting voters first again, I'm talking about things I've done in Linn County. For example, published absentee ballot request forms in a countywide newspaper that went to over 80,000 households. I did that in the city school election in 2021. I did it again before the primary, and I did it again before the general election. 4 times I published it. Why? Because you might have a smartphone, but you have access to the internet. And if you have access to the internet, can you print that form? Do you have a printer? A lot of people can't print that form. I want to level the playing field for everyone so that they have access. Yes, we'll send out an absentee ballot request form. All auditors' offices should, but most everybody can get a hold of that countywide newspaper. And they did. Last count, I think I had close to 1,000 people that sent it in. Not a huge number, but important to those 1,000 people. And they're going to get an absentee ballot sent to them. What else? What else do you do to put voters first? Well, your county auditor is going to decide how many days your office is open and accessible to you to vote early. In the case of Linn County, we're open each of the 20 days. I did that before the primary. 23 people voted on Memorial Day. 23 people. Important to those 23 people. We were open the Saturdays and Sundays, of course, as well, but we were open on Memorial Day. If I'm Secretary of State, under my administration, I would direct county auditors to extend their hours beyond their normal business hours. Because before the primary, if you only observed your normal business hours, you were actually only open 14 days of the 20. We already only have 20, so we got to make the best of it. That's why we were open all 20 days. And that's why we open all 20 days again. As Secretary of State, I would publish absentee ballot request forms across the state in newspapers, so they all had the same ability to get that absentee ballot request form as voters in Linn County. When I'm talking about restoring leadership, what am I talking about? Well, the current Secretary of State, Paul Pate, decided to basically set out the 2021 election laws, anti-voter election laws. He didn't take a stand on it. He didn't say anything about it. He didn't oppose it. He didn't support it. He just didn't say anything. He thought that was a safe way to approach that bill. It was absolutely not the safe way to approach it, especially when the County Auditors Association, the local county election administrators of each of your counties, that organization that I belong to was opposed to that anti-voter legislation. And let me remind you that that organization is dominated by Republican county auditors. 68 of those auditors are Republican county auditors. Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani. What's that have to do with today? Who are the chief election deniers in the nation today? Where is all this election denial emanating from? Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani and their proteges, Mike Lindell, the pillow guy, and Dr. Douglas Frank, who, by the way, came to Independence, my home county, that's where I grew up, came there, taught a class, held a seminar, basically told everyone our voting machines have all been hacked. We should count our ballots by hand, not by a machine. All the election officials, we're all corrupt. We're all corrupt. Then he told people to go back home to their home county and challenge voter registrations. And they did. They came to my county, people from my county, challenged voter registrations in my county, 119. Went to Blackhawk County, challenged 570. And these were people that would have been taken care of. These were voters that would have been taken care of by the normal administrative process that will happen January, February, March of next year. But we had to expedite it because they got challenged. Most of these people had already moved out of state. We knew that already. We're not going to send them ballots. But that's what they did. This is how election deniers, this is how the person who said, I'm not going to accept the results of the election if I lose, started well before the 2020 election, and how it's been perpetuated right down to Iowa itself and the election denying that's going on here. They're undermining our democracy, folks. We need to do something about it. We need a change in the office of Secretary of State, and I'm here to make that change. So what am I for? What am I for? I'm for automatically registering 17-year-olds when they become 17. How about we do that? That would reduce a lot of administrative paperwork that goes on right now. Just to register them as soon as they turn 17. How about allocating drop boxes by population and not by county? And ensuring that every county has a drop box available, because some counties don't. They have the option, they don't do it. And so some places in Iowa don't have the drop boxes available 24/7. We should fix that. What else? How about we send out a voter guide to every registered voter like other states do? Before the election, before general election, so you know who and what you're voting for. Why has it got to be a mystery? Or like, you know, go in and I see people looking up on their smartphone trying to figure out who they're going to vote for. That's not the way to do it. Let's provide some information and give them some guidance. One of the things that people always are complaining about, well, which of these judges do I vote for? Where's the information? Oh, it's on the internet. Well, that's great. I don't have access to the internet, or something like that. What else can we do? Well, you can vote for a Democrat. You can vote for a Democrat. As I said, I don't trust Paul Pate to make the right decisions. He has a track record of making the wrong decisions. That's why I'm running against him. He said nothing about the anti-voter legislation. He endorsed Rudy Giuliani. He invited Trump to a fundraiser. And he's done many more things that I could go on and on about. He doesn't make good decisions. He doesn't put you, the voters, first. I want everyone to vote, folks, not just the people that vote on election day. I want everyone that vote to vote in this state, because I think that's the best way to run our democracy. When people are engaged and they're voting and they care about what's going on. I just don't want a few people voting. That's a huge difference between me and my opponent, Paul Pate. I want everybody to vote. He doesn't. Folks, I'm Joe Miller. Let's work together to make voting easy again. Let's make elections fair again. Let's restore leadership, and let's put you, the voters, first again. Thank you.